heat warning for Waskesiu, what the warmth could mean for the long weekend. Saskatoon declares an ecological emergency, how the city is dealing with a record number of Dutch elm disease. And more overdose alerts, how frontline workers are dealing with another increase in calls.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the heat, as much of Saskatchewan is expected to reach into the 30s this long weekend. Some communities remain under a heat warning. And as Jasmine Pelche reports, that includes Waskesiu.
Out at Waskesiu Lake, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and the heat warning remains in place.
It's pretty nice out, though. You know, the wind isn't too strong.
The warning is active for Prince Albert National Park and much of the north and central parts of Saskatchewan. Visitors at Waskesiu aren't concerned, saying it's about time for some good summer weather.
It seems like we finally had a summer. This week has been incredible. We're down from Calgary, Alberta, and the weather was just as crummy as it was here in Saskatchewan pretty much all season. So we don't have smoke, we don't have rain.
We've had a very rough summer with the smoke and the lack of people attending the park because of that and the fear of the smoke. The heat, at least you can be here under an umbrella, you can be in the water, you can be doing a number of different events here at the park, so I think it's fantastic.
Environment Canada's hourly data says Waskesiu Lake saw a high of 31 Friday afternoon. The late August burst of hot weather is expected to continue tomorrow in the park with a high of 32 degrees.
The smoke and the evacuation, pre-evacuation alert definitely had a negative impact on the entire town site. So to have this great weather at the end of the season here is fantastic.
Chris Astle, owner of Twin Pine Cinema, says this weather is a pleasant change.
The first couple days on a really nice, weather stretch, it'll be really, really slow in the theater. But by the third or the fourth day, people will start coming in with, maybe a little bit redder noses and redder shoulders, ready to be out of the sun.
The intense heat is expected to ease up on Sunday with a predicted high of 27. And businesses hope to make the most of this summer's final long weekend. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Waskesiu.
The severe storm that rolled through central Saskatchewan last week left a trail of damage. The Northern Tornadoes Project surveyed damage from August 20th, confirming microbursts, a tornado, and a gustnado. The NTP says it developed near North Battleford at about 5:30 p.m., causing significant wind and hail damage as it passed Saskatoon. It says 4 separate wind events occurred: an EF1 microburst near Menin, an EF1 downburst near Gruenthal, an EF0 tornado near Buffer Lake, and a short-lived gustnado near Aberdeen. As a result of the storm, some farm animals were reportedly killed near Gruenthal, and grain bins, trees, and buildings were damaged. Jeff, those were quite the weather terms, but I don't think we'll have any of that this weekend.
Yes, no, it's like, well, you never know. Could always be a sharknado. You never know. But
hoping not.
Hoping not. We've got ourselves this pretty much a carbon copy of what we had for the last little while. Big high pressure ridge in place over most of Western Canada, impacting us in a very in the way that brings us dry and hot conditions. Still keeping our eye on this system of active weather sliding through parts of southern Saskatchewan. I just want to bring up those heat warnings that Jasmine was talking about. They've really expanded compared to the last few days, and so not only in Alberta and Manitoba, but a big swath of Saskatchewan, and that also includes the city of Prince Albert. So some significant issues with regard to heat, and we'll talk more about the actual temperatures later on.
Saskatoon is confirming more cases of Dutch elm disease as the tree-killing fungus begins to spread across the city. Keenan Sorokon has more on the effect Dutch elm disease is having on Saskatoon this summer.
A record number of Dutch elm disease cases is prompting the city of Saskatoon to declare an ecological emergency.
This is a new record for us, and we're concerned about the spread of the disease.
There's a total of 19 suspected or confirmed cases, more than last year's record of 11. The city says cases are widespread and not concentrated in any particular neighborhood. If residents don't help prevent the spread, Huang says it could become a costly problem moving forward.
With each tree removal being about
about $2,000 on average. It's a very expensive problem that is only going to get more difficult and expensive to manage if it continues to spread.
Tom Goad with SOS Trees Coalition says Dutch elm disease won't only have a budget implication moving forward, it could change how Saskatoon looks.
It is the start of an astronomical trajectory for the city. There is no cure for Dutch elm, so we know Dutch elm will eventually take 25% of the trees out of the city.
That's beginning to happen in Regina, with Dutch elm going from 12 in 2020 to 85 confirmed cases last year. Huang says despite the recent messaging, the city keeps finding more elmwood in people's backyards. Crews have found nearly 10,000 kilograms of elmwood stored in neighborhoods this summer.
I don't know if we can be more clear on this, but do not store elmwood, do not transport it.
The provincial ban on pruning elm trees will be lifted on Monday, but despite this, Huang says to hold off for a few weeks. The recent hot weather means the elm bark beetle, which spreads the fungus, is still very active right now. Keenan Sorakhan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Prairie Harm Reduction is sounding the alarm over a recent spike in drug overdoses. It comes as the Saskatoon Fire Department has been responding to dozens of overdose calls in the last week. CTV's Stacey Hine has the details.
A spike in overdoses is causing heavy hearts at Prairie Harm Reduction.
Everybody's just talking about everyone we lost, trying to figure out when funerals are, when services are, if we've found family members.
Earlier this month, the supervised drug consumption site said numbers from the Saskatchewan Coroner Service show more than 200 confirmed and suspected overdose deaths in the province this year. It says 20 people who have used its services are among those who have fatally overdosed, and the number continues to climb. The Saskatoon Fire Department has responded to 84 suspected overdoses since August 17th.
It's not uncommon. We'll see a spike and then it'll go down. But we've kind of seen that consistent number where we're getting 9 to 12 overdoses in a 24-hour period since the 17th. So, we start asking why.
The Ministry of Health is now warning of a dangerous mix of drugs making its way through Saskatoon. In at least one case, the drugs were a greenish-blue crystal. Prairie Harm Reduction confirmed carfentanil in one sample tested last week. It's a drug typically used to sedate elephants and other large animals. The province says it may be linked to increases in overdoses and multiple reported fatalities.
Fentanyl is already so strong that, naloxone really has to work hard to reverse it. And when we look at carfentanil, it has to work even harder.
Saskatoon police say they are aware of carfentanil trafficking in the city, and their drug unit continues its efforts to target drug traffickers, but says investigations are lengthy and complex. Meanwhile, Prairie Harm Reduction is holding a vigil at Station 20 West on Sunday to remember those who died of drug overdoses. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatoon police have arrested a man accused of starting a wildfire at the end of May. The fire investigators with the SPSA determined the Ditch 2 fire, which started in the Weaquin area on May 26th and spread to nearby communities, causing structure damage and evacuations, was human-caused. Waskesiu RCMP began a criminal investigation and charged 29-year-old Jason Halkett of Larange with 1 count of arson and damage to property. Saskatoon police arrested Halkett in Saskatoon on Wednesday. Halkett appeared in provincial court yesterday. 2 people were pulled from a burning house in the Massey Place neighborhood. The Saskatoon Fire Department says crews were called to the house in the 3100 block of Milton Street at about 1:30 this morning. Smoke and flames were coming from the windows. Firefighters were told people may be inside. 2 people were found and brought to safety before being taken to hospital for further evaluation. The fire was extinguished, but firefighters remained on scene. There is no word on the cause of the fire as it is under investigation. RCMP have charged a 3rd person in connection to a video that surfaced online showing a group of people with guns in Duck Lake. Police say they were told about the video earlier this month that showed up with the group and guns while in a vehicle. A 23-year-old man and 37-year-old woman were previously charged with careless use of a firearm. Now a 21-year-old Prince Albert man is facing a charge of unauthorized possession of a firearm and 1 count of unauthorized possession of a firearm in a motor vehicle. The 2 guns seen in the video have been taken by police. The Minister of Advanced Education says one of his social media accounts has been hacked. Ken Cheveldayoff posted to his Facebook account yesterday saying his X account was taken over and inappropriate content was being shared. The account was sending out pornographic content. Cheveldayoff says once he became aware of the hack, he immediately contacted X to have the content removed. The Premier is expressing his condolences after the passing of a former rural leader in Saskatchewan. St. Clair Harrison was president of the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities for 8 years and reeve of the RM of Moosomin for more than 3 decades. Premier Scott Moe called him a prominent voice for rural Saskatchewan. Harrison died yesterday in Regina.
St. Clair Harrison.
The University of Regina Students' Union is under more scrutiny tonight after facing accusations of financial mismanagement. Police are now looking into the organization's affairs. Jacob Carr explains.
The University of Regina Students' Union is now under investigation for possible misappropriation of funds, according to Regina Police. For nearly a year, URSU has been embroiled in controversy. Issues started coming to light in December when the Students' Union threatened to pull funding from the U of R Women's Centre and UR Pride. Since then, multiple legal battles have ensued. The most recent filed in April, an injunction by URSU against the university for withholding fees and terminating their fee collection agreement. On July 30th, that injunction was dismissed by a judge at Court of King's Bench, due in part to URSU's recent track record, including financial concerns. According to court documents, the university's security service received confidential information alleging systemic misappropriation of funds and other illegal activity involving URSU. A new financial review of URSU was conducted in April, and the university has forwarded this information to law enforcement officials. Now, those financial concerns have the organization under investigation.
We need to know what the allegations are, accusations are, because as far as we know, we have not done anything wrong. We get audited every year as well. We have all these processes in place. So if their all claim is the deficit happens in most of the organizations. So deficit is not indication of fraud.
URSU was also served an eviction notice in mid-August by the U of R. Staff instructed to vacate the spaces they occupy on campus. The union is fighting this decision, arguing that its dissolution can only occur through a vote by membership, which has not happened. RPS told CTV News that the investigation into URSU is ongoing and that no further details can be provided at this time. URSU says they have not been in contact with police yet, but are more than happy to cooperate with the investigation. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
A man has been charged accused of stealing from a minor hockey association. According to the Esterhazy Minor Hockey Association's publicly available meeting minutes, an individual stole about $43,000 through e-transfer and $3,000 cash from the organization. After investigating the case, RCMP charged Corey Smith with 1 count of theft over $5,000. Smith was recently removed as the association's treasurer. He has paid back $20,000, allowing the league to pay their outstanding fees and continue operations. Smith is scheduled to be back in court in December. A new school year is right around the corner for students across the province, and the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation is looking forward to seeing the impact of additional supports for classroom complexity.
It's not going to solve everything, but it is going to mean that there will be 500 board teachers entering schools this year to be able to provide more supports for our kids. And I know that's what we all want to see. So it's an exciting time of year, and we're all looking forward to getting back into schools with students starting next week.
The majority of Saskatchewan students go back to school on Tuesday. It comes with another round of reminders from police to avoid sharing too much information through back-to-school posts on social media, and for drivers to be extra careful in school zones. Thousands of people will be in Regina this weekend for the Labor Day Classic. This year's edition is expected to be the biggest since the Riders moved into their new stadium. Donovan Mace reports.
It's a game that really needs no setup at all. A sold-out Mosaic Stadium in Regina.
While the hype for Labor Day takes care of itself, planning for it is a different story.
I don't know if we're ever not planning Labor Day. It's really kind of an important signpost on the season. So, yeah, lots goes into it.
With a big crowd expected come Sunday, the Rider organization is making sure they are ready with additional buses for transit to extra ticket scanners and security personnel at the gates.
Very similar to what we were able to do a couple of weeks ago, right? So we've got our full complement, kind of the full show is on, and we're looking forward to putting on a big game.
When this stadium's filled and rocking, so is business.
And with 33,000 plus in the stands this weekend, many of them traveling in, the economic spin-off of the game is even greater.
35,000 people in Mosaic Stadium. The results are significant to our business community, and that's more people. It's more money in our staff's pockets that are working in the hospitality business, and it just flows through our entire city.
But there are also some challenges with getting that many people into Mosaic.
There will be some lineups, right? It's going to take a little slow, be a little slower, take a little longer, but we're going to try to move people through as quickly as we possibly can.
The team on the field ready to give fans a show, but head coach Corey Mace says something has been missing.
I have yet to see watermelons on people's heads. I don't know what happened about that. Like, that was a thing. I remember that. So I'm expecting to see that. I want to see watermelons. I want them sold out in the whole province.
Now, while the gates are scheduled to open 2 hours prior to kickoff, the Riders are highly encouraging fans to arrive to the stadium extra early due to that expected capacity crowd on Sunday. And with temperatures forecasted to hit 30 degrees, reminders to drink plenty of water as well. Kickoff for the 60th annual Labor Day Classic is at 5 p.m. Don from CTV News, Regina.
Today is Green and White Day in the province. The city of Saskatoon marking the day by flying a retro Riders flag at Civic Square. Residents in Saskatoon and across the province were encouraged to celebrate the day by wearing green and white to show their support for the Riders as they get ready to play in the 60th annual Labor Day Classic. They take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers Sunday. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Still to come, Canada's economy under the microscope, why some are raising concern. Also, how things are about to become more trying for Canadian businesses. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. Some troubling economic news for Canada. New numbers show a key measure of the country's economic health isn't looking as healthy as economists had hoped. CTV's Camille Carmali gives us a glimpse on what's behind the blow to Canada's GDP.
After months of being assaulted by U.S. tariffs and battered by the ongoing trade war, Canada now showing major cracks in the armor.
This is not a good picture for Canada and what's happening here.
Canada's economy contracted in the second quarter, much more than expected, shrinking by 1.6% on an annualized basis. It's the first quarterly contraction in nearly 2 years and the steepest decline since the pandemic.
Essentially, the big change was in the first quarter, we had a rush to get exports out into the U.S. as quickly as possible. In the second quarter, that all came to a halt as some of these tariffs started to take effect.
U.S. President Donald Trump ramped up tariffs against Canada and the world that quarter, targeting steel, aluminum, and autos. While April, May, and June then saw a sharp drop-off in business investment by roughly 10%.
The depth of decline that we're seeing in the manufacturing sector is something that we haven't seen in many years. And so it is a cause for concern.
Vehicle exports plummeting nearly 25%, industrial machinery exports and travel services also falling drastically. In fact, Canada saw an unprecedented trade deficit in the second quarter, with a big gap between its minimal exports versus its massive amount of imports. The difference between the two, a whopping $19.6 billion in goods and services.
Well, guess what's happening in the middle of a trade war with the U.S.? We're exporting substantially less stuff to our major trade partner.
All of it raising fears of a recession, which economists say Canada would be in if the GDP sees another decline in the third quarter of this year.
We need to be a little bit more cautious, and that caution, of course, feeds into the economy.
The latest GDP figures putting a sharper focus on the Bank of Canada and whether it'll make an interest rate cut in mid-September. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
A near-century-long duty exemption used by small businesses in Canada and around the world to ship low-cost items to the U.S. ended today. CTV's Jeremy Charon on how it's leaving businesses to deal with the consequences.
In small businesses across the country, there is an unfortunate new reality.
I know that I'm going to see a decline in sales to the States.
Cal Green's Ottawa-based streetwear brand Raised by Wolves is no exception.
So we produce the apparel, they've done the shoes, and then
At least a quarter of his business comes through direct sale to American consumers or wholesalers. His product no longer exempt from duties when shipped south of the border, forcing him to make a difficult decision.
The duties, the tariffs, the brokerage fees, and the shipping is going to be included in the price for U.S. customers to be transparent. That's really all I can do at this point. As a small business, I can't afford to eat those costs.
Some of his products could still be exempt if he can prove they're CUSMA compliant. But like for thousands of other businesses, that will require more time and effort, which experts say won't always make sense.
If they want to go into the process of making sure that their goods are CUSMA compliant, that may not be worth the cost for many businesses.
It's a huge nightmare. Has been a really steep learning curve.
Last year, almost 1.4 billion packages entered America duty-free. Now, the new fees will vary based on a variety of factors, including the country of origin. But some businesses say they'll avoid it altogether.
To avoid confusion and conflicts with customers, I just suspended U.S. shipping for now.
Others hopeful to keep at least some of their longtime American customers.
I don't think there's so much anyone can do about it at this point, so I just want to keep moving forward and do the best I can.
At least 25 countries have opted to suspend U.S. shipping, citing a lack of clarity around enforcement. Canada Post says it'll work with a third party to collect and send the duties directly to U.S. Customs. Jeremy Charon, CTV News, Ottawa.
Israel has declared Gaza City a dangerous combat zone as it begins the initial stages of a planned offensive that's drawn international condemnation. Israel's military says it's focusing on the outskirts of the city, and the push into Gaza City is aimed at dismantling Hamas. Officials said the bodies of 2 Israeli hostages were located in operations today. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of Palestinians have been forced to flee as aid groups warn the humanitarian crisis in the Strip is only set to deepen. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky laying flowers at a memorial site in Kyiv today, honoring victims of the latest Russian attack on the city. Officials say the confirmed death toll from missile and drone strikes early yesterday now stands at 23, including 4 children. It came as the U.S. had been pushing for a deal to end the fighting and as allies discuss security guarantees for Ukraine. Today marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina hit south of the border. Music rang out at a special memorial in New Orleans today. The ceremony honored those who lost their lives and those who helped rebuild. Parts of the levee system collapsed, causing devastating flooding to parts of the city. 1,400 people were killed across 5 states. More than 1 million were displaced along the U.S. Gulf Coast. Katrina caused $200 billion in damage in today's dollars and remains the costliest U.S. hurricane on record. All right, Jeff, here at home, we're in for a very, very warm couple of days, and then Monday, things kind of cool off.
They kind of cool off, and back to work Tuesday would be a bit of a coolish day, and coolish certainly comparatively speaking to where we have been for the last few days and will be for the next couple of days. So the long weekend right now is off to a hot start and will stay hot for Saturday and Sunday as well. So 30 degrees right now. In fact, if you bet on 30, woohoo, big winner, because 30s across the board in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and the Battlefords. And is it windy? Not really. Let's take a look at our numbers for today. So today's daytime high in Saskatoon, 32 degrees, rather 31 degrees. 22 is typical, so 9 degrees above seasonal. 34, though, that was the record set in 1972 and 2006. The record cold temperature on this date, just 1 degree back in 1935. The sun came up at 6:13, and it's going to go down at 8:01.
Coming up, what you need to know about this weekend's fireworks festival. And later, fogging out the thieves who smash and grab.
All righty, welcome back. Let's take a look at the South Saskatchewan. A few people recreating out there, and I think a few more will be out there as we go through the weekend. Lots to do, and so a lot of, no doubt, we'll see some, motorboats, maybe some jet skis, and certainly paddle boards, things like that. But yeah, beautiful day to be out on the river, and just be careful. That's all we ask of you. So let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here. And we're keeping our eye on this system. It's not raining in Swift Current yet, but we do anticipate this area of active weather to make its way to Swift Current. Maybe an on-again, off-again showery evening for that southwestern city. But obviously, they've already had rain in places like Maple Creek and down around the Cypress Hills. 30 degrees, once again, just to recap, in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and the Battlefords. Not much in the way of wind. The hot spot, that was Nipawin today at 33 big degrees. 33, Tony D. The cold spot is the Scott Research Station. It's got an automatic station there, and that's 9 degrees. That's out in the I believe, the Wilkie area there. So that's where it was the coldest in our province in the last 24 hours, or at least since midnight. As we take a look at our larger communities, as I say, Swift Current, maybe some of that rain has already showed up. It didn't show up in the automatics, but we can tell you that it's 18 degrees right now in Speedy Creek, but it's 10 degrees warmer in Regina, 26 in Moose Jaw, 24 in Estevan, 26 as well in Yorkton. But it's 30 degrees in Lloydminster, Prince Albert, and Saskatoon. Into our central part of the province for a closer look, temperatures ranging from 26 degrees in Wynyard up to 31 in Nipawin. A lot of places hanging around 29 or 30 degrees. Up north, it's hot there as well. 20 degrees right now in Collins Bay, 31 in South End, 30 in Buffalo Narrows and La Ronge. And down south, well, it's cool down in East End where the rain has hit. And as you can see, once we get out of that rainy area, temperatures start to warm up, especially as we make our way up towards Outlook, where it's 29 degrees. It's 29 as well in Indian Head, 28 in Waybird, 23 in Carlisle, and 26 in Melville and Broadview. Our futurecast indicating that system that's down in southern Saskatchewan migrates northward, but starts to wring itself out as we make our way into Saturday. So really not a big deal in that respect. What is a big deal? The heat warnings that are in effect for the prairie provinces and parts of the far north and little bits of British Columbia. But here in Saskatchewan, from all the way up in Uranium City down towards Prince Albert, over to Hudson Bay, and some of the other locations we talked about yesterday. So a large portion of the province under a heat warning. Around the province we go for tomorrow. Here's not a surprise with those heat warnings in place. Temperatures in the low 30s for northern Saskatchewan on Saturday. A little cooler in west central parts of the province. Kindersley expected to see a little bit of shower activity. 25 degrees tomorrow for a high. A little bit warmer than that in Rosetown, Spiritwood, and Meadow Lake. Temperatures of 25 in Maple Creek and Leader, 24 in Swift Current, 28 in Outlook. Into the southeastern part of the province, temperatures hanging around 31 degrees with a mix of sky conditions, and that is pretty much the same case for east central Saskatchewan, although Hudson Bay is expected to top out at 33 big degrees under sunny skies. For the Battlefords, dropping off to 15 tonight. The wind's sort of shifting around a little bit, but it's really light wind. The wind picks up a little bit tomorrow, a moderate wind, 27 degrees, but back into the 30s on Sunday. Monday, holiday Monday, 23 degrees, back to work Tuesday, 21, but then warming up to temperatures around 25 for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Prince Albert dropping down to 12 tonight. Tomorrow's high, 31 degrees. And then we've got ourselves 30 on Sunday, Monday, 21, 19 on back to work Tuesday, and then warming up to closer to seasonal values by the time we get to Wednesday, Thursday. And as we take a look at Saskatoon, 13 overnight. Tomorrow's daytime high, 29 big degrees. And then as we take a look at Sunday, well, we've got ourselves 31 degrees, 23 on holiday Monday, 20 to get back to school and back to work Tuesday, but then warming up again 1 week from today, 26. Yeah, I think that's in Bob Cajun. Much Music is celebrating the 25th anniversary of an iconic performance from The Tragically Hip. An episode of Intimate and Interactive with The Tragically Hip aired live 25 years ago from the Much Music Queen Street Studios in Toronto. The band performed 17 songs, fielding questions from fans in between. The show is now available to watch on the Much Music YouTube channel.
The world will know you as pop stars. But you will be much more than that.
It's a K-pop world, and fans are happily living in it. The soundtrack for the Netflix movie K-pop Demon Hunters has 4 songs simultaneously in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. That is the first time any soundtrack album has achieved the feat. The soundtrack itself is currently number 2 on the Billboard 200 album chart, and with the CD now available to augment streaming totals, taking over the number 1 spot could just be a matter of time. Swirling winds, drone-operated monkeys, and artificial intelligence brought new life to The Wizard of Oz at the premiere of an immersive version of the Hollywood classic at the Sphere in Las Vegas, Nevada. Reworking the film took more than 2 years and 2,000 people. The Sphere added off-screen elements such as fans that kicked up wind and blew leaf-shaped confetti when the tornado swept Dorothy's farmhouse into the sky. 16-foot helium-filled flying monkeys flew overhead as well. The film will run at the Sphere until March 26th.
That would be something to see.
Yeah. Don't want to have too many beers before you see that one.
Maybe not. The long weekend is going off with a bang starting tonight.
Starting tonight, and that bang is going up in the sky.
A Labor Day long weekend tradition is back. The Nutrient Fireworks Festival is about to get underway later this evening, and with me today, Shad Ali. He's the president of the Fireworks Festival. So, first of all, this has been going on for a long time. It is a Saskatoon tradition, but for people who may be new to the community, what is it?
Well, Nutrient Fireworks Festival, a great way for us to close off the summer and welcome fall. Although with the weather and temperatures we're going to have today, I don't know about that. But, you know, come on down, Fireworks Festival. We have Pyro Musical Friday night, tonight, and tomorrow night, Saturday night. Unique shows each evening.
And there's lots of things going on in and around River Landing, Traffic Bridge, and right here in the Pump House, the Gather Local Market area.
Yeah, you come up 19th Street, hit Avenue A in Spadina. There's lots of parking up here. I really tell people, walk, ride your bike, or take the bus. That's the best way to come down. And yeah, up here on the platform, we'll have lots of stuff going on. SGI Family Fun Zone and Safety Fair. We got food vendors just behind us here. I mean, there's plenty for people to come down and enjoy.
And we should remind people that, you know, people like me would often watch the fireworks from Rotary Park, but you can't go to Rotary Park this time around.
Please don't go to Rotary Park. Not a good place to be. We will actually be launching the fireworks from there both tonight and tomorrow night, Saturday. So stay away from there. Come over to River Landing, Nasser Plaza, Market Square over by Gather Local Market. I mean, all along the riverbank, there's not a bad spot. These things are going to be going off over your head.
It's going to be amazing. We're going to wrap things up, but where can people go to get more information?
Man, nutrientfireworksfestival.ca is the best place every time.
All right. Thanks a lot, Shad.
Beautiful.
All right, Jeff, we have some special celebrations in Pick of the Day today.
We sure do. The first one I'm going to start off with is a You Scream, I Scream, We All Scream for Ice Cream. This is sent to us by Greg Gilroy. He says, hi, Jeff. Here's a picture of my 96-year-old mother, Audrey Gilroy, on a road trip for ice cream. Thanks to the wonderful team at Trinity Manor in Saskatoon. They keep the residents busy and feeling young. Well, I'm glad she's out there enjoying some ice cream. She looks fabulous. Next one comes to us from Jen, and Jen says, this is Jaden. She'll be turning 10 on September 1st. Her mom and little brother Jordan wish her a very happy birthday and best wishes, so we certainly add our best wishes to Jaden. And finally, from our own Shane Corrigan, well, Shane titles this one, 2 for the Price of 1. So the little guy you see there is not so little anymore. William turns 8 on Saturday, in other words, tomorrow. And also on Saturday, Allison and Bruce Corrigan celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. So we want to send along happy birthday wishes to Will, and of course a happy anniversary to Mr. and Mrs. Corrigan from all of us. So congratulations. Have a great weekend. Go Riders. And we'd also like to remind you that if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Do me a favor and put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, putting a stop to thieves, how some jewelry stores are smoking out suspects. smash and grab jewelry store robberies have become disturbingly too common. Now it's prompted a business in Ancaster, Ontario to step up its security measures. It recently installed a smoke screen system which can flood the shop with a dense fog in an effort to deter criminals. CTV's Alexandra Hollick has the details.
In a matter of seconds, a thick fog floods this Ancaster jewelry store. It's a taste of what could happen in the event of an armed robbery.
If the hold-up button is pushed, they automatically disperse for 30 seconds with a non-toxic water vapor.
Owner Jean-Pierre Verbunt installed the anti-theft measure after a violent smash and grab last December.
They did smash almost every case in the store. I spent the night in the hospital, got a CT scan, lots of damage to my face from hammers and punching.
The store's new system acts as smoke and mirrors, clouding criminals' vision and deterring them from finishing the job.
You can't see your hand in front of your face, so you can't steal what you can't see.
You just want to do anything you can to try and delay them and slow them down. It's not like we're trying to, incapacitate them or something. We just want to give the police time to get here.
The owner here at Ancaster Jewelers says he knows security systems won't put a stop to all armed robberies or guarantee it won't happen again. But he says he's hopeful the new measures will deter criminals from striking his store.
It's really to stop yourself from being the low-lying fruit and put yourself a little higher in the tree.
The device is often used in stores overseas, but since it came to Canada, it's billowed in popularity.
Jewelry stores, some higher-end retail, private residences, and then some retail applications where they're looking to protect specific assets.
The price for the added layer of protection starts at $1,500. But Verbunt says the smokescreen and security measures in general are worth every penny.
Show all the bad guys that we have this passive resistance that's going to hopefully stop you from even trying.
Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Ancaster.
When we come back, the riders get ready for the Labor Day Classic and later a solar celebration in the Netherlands.
All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at the rural forecast. Oh, it's looking so good. Temperatures, not too hot for most people. I would think 28 degrees. That's not so bad, but 24 for Lloydminster. A chance of some showers in the Kindersley area. We mentioned that earlier on, but as we make our way toward the eastern side of the province, north and south of the Yellowhead, back into the 30s. 31 in Waterson, Melfort, 33 in Hudson Bay, 30 in Wynyard. Let's take a look down south, north and south of the Trans-Canada. 25 degrees for Leader and Maple Creek, 22 in East End and Cypress Hills area, but as we make our way towards the southwestern corner, 30 degrees in Carlisle, warming up to 31 in Pilot Butte and Broadview, and 32 in Lumsden and in Kenora. Yeah, some roasty, toasty temperatures out there, and that also includes Kenosee Lake, mainly sunny skies, 31 degrees. And if you're looking for a little bit of a history on the Kenosee Gardens, there's a nice little, about a 10-minute video presentation on the internet, so you can check that out. And you know what? Kenosee Lake is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
After missing the last 5 games with a hip injury, Mariel Alford is set to return to the Riders lineup just in time for the Labor Day Classic.
Alford crosses the 20 to the 30 to the 40. He's got something to the 50. Come on races. No one's going to touch him. No flags down. Lock it off.
Alford is having a bit of a resurgence this season, averaging 30.9 yards per kickoff return. That's the second best in the CFL, along with a game-winning touchdown versus Toronto. This is Alford's 4th Labor Day Classic as a rider against an opponent he says is always tough to play against.
Man, they're disciplined. They're a disciplined team. Like Coach just said, they lead the league in no penalty. Penalty for pre-snap penalty. They don't have them much, and they just do everything the right way. So we're gonna have to capitalize off their mistakes for sure.
Alford will likely replace Dre McCray in the lineup, who filled in for Mario when he was injured.
3 options to his right. That's where he's going to throw. He's looking to the end zone.
After practice today, Ajo spoke to the media, calling his experience with the Indianapolis Colts a dream come true. As soon as he was waived, he was ready to come back to Saskatchewan, though, a place the Alberta product now calls home. Another Saskatchewan publication is set to go to print for the last time. In an update to its readers this week, Regina's Prairie Dog announced it will shut down at the end of September. The Prairie Dog has been around for 32 years, but has run into financial difficulties in recent years. Its final edition will be published September 24th. The Canadian economy has taken a hit amid the onslaught of tariffs coming from the U.S. Some analysts say a U.S. trade war has now pushed Canada closer to a recession. Lindsay Biscaya explains.
Statistics Canada says the Canadian economy contracted 1.6% in the second quarter of this year. It is the worst decline for the country since the COVID-19 pandemic, primarily due to U.S. tariffs, which slashed exports by 7.5%. Exports in key sectors like energy and automotive dropped significantly, widening the trade deficit. And here's a look at how the trading day ended today. The Canadian dollar up 11 cents to 72.82 cents U.S. West Texas Intermediate is down almost $1 to 64.01. Western Canadian Select is up 48 cents to 51.66. And the TSX jumped 129 points today to 28,564. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon just over $1.44 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.29.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day at $106.24 and Nutrien was down. Coming up, a solar challenge crowns a powerful champion. Then the icy indoor activity proving to be popular.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Get comfortable and settle in with these top shows all right here tonight on CTV. The Netherlands has claimed an 8th World Solar Challenge title. One of their solar-powered cars, seen here, drove the length of Australia in less than 35 hours. The challenge began earlier this week with 34 cars powered only by the sun, racing from Australia's tropical north to its southern shores. It goes through the outback, making it a real endurance test over the 3,000-kilometer run. It's quite the interesting craft.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if any Canadian cars were in there.
Oh, probably. I would think so. All right, well, if the heat is too much for you, perhaps this will make you feel a little bit cooler, even for a moment. People in Shanghai taking in an indoor ski resort. The resort has artificial snow, a mountain background, and ski lifts along with temperatures of -5. The 98,000 square meter resort was declared the world's largest indoor ski facility in 2024. And it was about 28 degrees in Shanghai today. So I guess this would be a cool down for people.
Cool down, cool down. And if you're too hot, just have a little tsing tsao. There you go.
There you go.
It's some beer, that's all. Yeah. Anyhow, let's take a look at the weather. We've got ourselves 19 degrees tomorrow morning. By noon, 24 degrees. Mid-afternoon, about 29 degrees. By 5 o'clock, 28. Mainly cloudy skies and not much of a wind, so another hot and, I think, pleasant day.
Absolutely. And as you were saying earlier, it's going to cool down next week, but it's just really, it's still going to be warm.
It's still going to be warm, and then it cools down for just a few days and then sort of bounces back.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we want to leave you with some pretty stunning images. Harvest still underway in the province, and one of our photographers, Chad Hills, took these images north of Martinsville earlier this week. So we will leave you with Saskatchewan harvest. Have a great and safe long weekend.
Take care.